Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. I'm Brendan Lee. In this video, I want to talk to you about something that is challenging to talk about and really stands in your way of growth, of ending your own suffering, of transforming your experience from one of being uncomfortable, suffering, not happy, to happiness, in a sense. Okay? I'm not touting an easy fix here, but I'm touting something real. And this, I'm just trying to think of the best way to communicate this to you in a way that's going to make a difference, that's actually going to be workable, given what you've got going on. And it is this aspect of mind where when people are trying to grow, they're trying to learn, they're trying to... Let's start with this. Let's say you're suffering. Say you're not happy, right? You're not happy with life. And when you try to change what you've got to something better, it doesn't work. You do the meditation, you do the therapy, you do the stuff like the sports, or you get the fancy car, you get all the things, right? You do all this stuff outside, you try to heal, maybe you join a spiritual community that's all healing oriented, and it doesn't work. And then you go, well, shit, I don't know what to do. Then you do other stuff. That doesn't work. Then, or you join a community, and then it becomes like a pretense. So it's like a pretend. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm going to try to lay some groundwork here to reveal what I'm trying to communicate. See, so you do these things that don't work. Then you do this other stuff, and then maybe it becomes a pretense. So you're pretending. Now, if you pretend really good, you won't know the difference. and then you'll know, maybe you'll find out later, or you'll just take it to your grave. I don't know. See, so this is a possibility. You could pretend and get lost in pretending. You could also think you've changed when you haven't. Again, that's like more pretense. And so then that's a possibility. Another possibility is that you adopt a belief system about what you've got. You believe it is a certain way, and then sort of craft everything around this belief, and then have a whole system worked out, so then reality just falls neatly into place, and you believe that this is the way it is, and you live within that. But that's sort of like a Band-Aid. You're putting a Band-Aid over something that's broken already. Right? So then maybe you try all this stuff and realize none of it works, and you go, okay, well, I'm going to get real. So you try to get real with what's going on, and you look into your experience, and you see, because even though I believe something, still deep down I don't feel right. Or even if I'm pretending something, still deep down inside, like, I'm a little off. Or, I might join a spiritual community and be all lovey-dovey, but then I go eat dinner with my parents and at Thanksgiving, and I shit a brick or something, you see? And not happy, right? Oh, family, fuck that, or whatever. So that means, and there's pain. So that means that you have stuff going on. There's a power there. There's something happening. There's something happening, and it's stronger than your pretense. It's like what you're pretending isn't there, you see, because that's the nature of a pretense. Like I pretend I'm some way that I'm not. Well, that way that you are, that you're pretending you're not, you are some way still. What way is that? Or you get tired of the belief system, and then you switch to another belief system, and you realize, whoa, wait a minute, I'm just believing I am some way. What's the real deal? Okay, so you start to get real. Maybe you do a workshop. Come here, do a workshop. We're pretty real. You're invited. Check the links in the description, of course. They're powerful, incredibly powerful, and incredibly honest. I invite you to grasp what's true for yourself. In either case, you can check the links, navigate my website, come on down. So you try to get real. You want to get real. You want to know. And you peel off the pretense. You stop intellectualizing. You cut the shit. You cut it out. And then you like, all right, what's real? And you're like, ow, I get angry here. I'm in pain about this. I really deep down think I'm not worthwhile. And then you run into what I'm calling the wall, or what I think it's like, this is what I think people deal with that really keeps them stuck. Okay? And it is that, not that they are some way, not that you are some way that's bad and wrong, but you need that to continue. You see, and how do you know there's a need there? We could say, if we rip you off of, so if starting from zero, we stop pretending, you start being honest. Good, you get real with your experience. Now you don't conceptualize or think about what's going on, you get what's really going on, stop fucking around, you tell the truth about what's happening for you. Who are you really? What way are you really? Deep down, the one that you never tell anybody. Yeah, that way, that one. Is that a good thing? Yeah? No? Okay, something's going on. Anna's probably not happy. And then you want to transcend it, right? You want to transcend it. You heard about this transcended shit. You want to get over it. You want to move past it. You want to get free. You want to stop suffering like Buddha, end all suffering, or Eckhart Tolle, have a realization, no more, be in the now, stop suffering, whomever, Byron Katie, you name it. It's all this like, don't stop suffering stuff, right? You want to feel better. So then you hear about this possibility, then the next thing to do is get responsible, because if you're not responsible for your experience, nobody's going to be. So if it's other people's fault, if it's reality's fault, if it's life's fault that you are the way you are, turn off the video. The rest will be irrelevant, Because you're not responsible. It's other people's fault. It's life's fault. It's not you. No, I got news for you. It's you. All right? You cannot control circumstance, but you can control how you relate to circumstance. If you don't vibe with that, then you're not being responsible for what's going on with you. Okay, so you get responsible. Then you get real, and then you're like, but I'm in pain. And I go, well, what's really true about the pain? And you might get to something like, well, I'm broken. I'm a worthless piece of shit. I'm a rejection of, you can reject me because I'm a turd. I'm unlovable. I cannot be loved. Whatever. You fill in the blank, whatever your core thing is, right? And then you try to transcend it. You hear about transcendence, you try to transcend it, but you can't. And I say, well, go ahead and do that. And so now we're at the wall. We're at like the rubbers meet the road. You don't know what to do. You can't change it. Everything else is a pretense. You've tried all that, but you're still stuck with this crap. And you're like, fuck, what do I do? You try to get into it. And this is where most people stop. And what I think holds them back, there's like at least a couple of things that are percolating in my mind that hold them back. And one is, now I'm going to postulate here, all right? Do not turn my postulation into some form of belief about what's true, all right? This is just a pointer. This is just something to give your mind, something to consider. But when you're done with this video, just throw it out. It's worthless, all right? Now I'm going to postulate here with you. For example, I think that having had an enlightenment experience, becoming conscious of something absolute, becoming conscious of my true nature has given me a different perspective on reality. that other people do not have, and they can't have, I don't think, unless they become conscious themselves. And this difference is what I think makes a huge difference in my ability to recognize fact from fiction in my experience. But now, having said that, because when I watch people struggle with the work, I watch people struggle with their own mind, I watch myself struggle with my own mind, and I see, one, how powerful it is. Like, myself is incredibly powerful. This mind here is ferocious, okay? It's not like just some part of me. No, it's like my whole thing is ferociously like this. Now, I think the enlightenment helps, makes a huge difference, because now when I look at my mind, I can see the difference between me and my mind. And I don't think, so when you're listening to this video, if you do not have the consciousness of which I speak, you will likely think you are somewhere. And if I really question you, you'd really not be able to find you anywhere. But you're certain you're here, but what are you made of? And you might not know that. See, if you get really real with that and really rigorous, really honest, you might not know that. And I think it's useful to grasp what you are, who you are, what you are, direct. Because then you make a distinction between you and your mind. Whereas most people, when they're trying to transform, they think they are their mind, or they think they are something within their experience, or they are the one in control of what's going on. You see, it's like, I'm here some way controlling this. And so then the very thing that they think they are is the thing that they're trying to transcend, but they're doing it from not, this is really hard to explain, not being in touch with what's really going on. They're ignorant. You're ignorant. Not a bad thing. Just ignorant, like you're not aware of what's going on. Why? Because you can't just stop the suffering. Stop it. Because ultimately it's something you're doing. And if you cannot stop doing it, then you're missing something. And so I'm trying to reveal this. I don't know if it's really useful for me to reveal that first part. Okay, so that just put the possibility of becoming directly conscious of your nature on a shelf. Do that, okay? Come here. We do contemplation intensives. That's for that purpose. You can come here and do that. I think that's very powerful for this kind of work. But set that aside. And then the next thing that this is what I think really locks people in place. It is that it's not that you are a certain way. It's that you need it to continue. Stop being that way. No, I can't stop being that way. That excuse will come up. I can't stop that. Yes, you can. Well, what it really means is like, I don't want to stop that. Strongly, you need it. You need the suffering. You ever see people that run through life and they're in a shitty experience, and you can actually see that they're in a shitty experience, but then they keep doing it, and then they keep like running the same wheels over and over and over and over again? And you're like, my God, that's stupid. If they just stop doing that, but they can't, you can see that they can't. So you can see somebody else is suffering. You've got stuff going on that's like that. I've got stuff going on that's like that. It's these automatic programs. So the need is one of the main things that holds it in place. And then even worse than the need is people assume shit about reality. And the assumption shows up. So when you're listening to this video, these are incredibly hard to see because it shows up as reality. The assumption shows up as reality. It's what you think is really, really real. Those are your assumptions. I am just this way. That does not show up like it's something I'm assuming. That shows up like real. As real as you think I'm over here. Those kinds of assumptions, and if you have those kinds of assumptions about yourself, your person, you will be that way. That is the way that you are being. That does not sound like a willful action or like, oh, I'm just assuming. No, this aspect of experience that I'm talking about is this is the one that locks shit in place for till dead, as far as I can tell, if gone unchallenged. It makes reality show up the way it is. It makes you show up to you, see what I did there? The way you are. You have some way you are. Life is some way, isn't it? The most real way you've got that life is, that's the way it is. That is assumed. That is the assumption. And if that remains unchecked, if that remains unchallenged, then there's very little chance of it changing. Of you changing it, if you want to change it. And this aspect of mind, what I'm calling mind here, that will show up in your experience like real, this, I think, is the hardest thing to bypass or the hardest thing to get over. And especially if somebody comes in, say they come into a workshop, hint, hint, check the website, go navigate, come do a workshop. We do them here. They're powerful, incredible, all that stuff. People come to a workshop. They come in with their perspective. And sometimes I see them in their perspective, and there is nothing I can do. I mean, I could yell, I could scream, I could work the mind different ways and have people consider things and think like this and feel blah, 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 and do all this stuff. But at the end of the day, if they don't have the realization, if they don't make the breakthrough, if they don't have the insight for themselves, they don't get out of it. And it's strong. It's as strong as there's an object behind me. I'm in a room. It's that strong kind of thing. It's like it's real. And maybe not. This is what I'm trying to communicate to you. It's poetically, metaphorically, it's the very fabric of your reality that you think is that way. Maybe it's not. For real. Okay? So now, those are the main things. One thing that I really think that enlightenment, what we call enlightenment, a direct consciousness of something absolute, my nature, the nature of another, reality, whatever, but the absolute nature, what's really, really, really true about that, for me has given me a window, a contrast of no perspective, no experience, no nothing, nowhere to go, nowhere to be, no place, no time, no experience, so that then this shows up as a contrast. It does not show up as something that I am in. It shows up as something where, I locate myself here, and then I've got no location as an option. Not like the thought of no location, like the reality of that. And that gives a contrast. And so from this no perspective, now I know that you're hearing this and don't make a bunch of shit up about this. I don't care about all that. And I don't want you to make stuff up. What I'm saying is that's what I postulate enlightenment gives me. That contrast, the ability to look, the ability to wonder, the ability to experience that isn't locked the same way. Now don't get me wrong, I am fully locked into the shit I'm locked into. That's my problem. Okay? But my ability to look and to discern and to become conscious is increased by this contrast. So I invite you to do that. Contemplation intensive is what you want. We do those. They're powerful. They're intense. All right, they're no joke. Okay, so that aspect. So I think that helps. Now, How do you go about that if you haven't had that enlightenment experience? Start. It's not so now everything I just said, just throw it away. Start fresh. Now what do you do about it? Well, you get honest. Start to notice that you have stuff going on in your experience that is painful. And then, why is it painful? Not why is it painful from a psychological perspective, I can explain it because of past trauma and blah, 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 blah. Or a scientific perspective, I've heard about neurons in the brain and chemicals and that's more explanation. Or a spiritual perspective that explains, the energy from Mercury is in the fifth chakra in the dimension and we're in the blah, 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 some spiritual shit, some energetic, psychic shit, I don't care. No. What's really going on in your experience? What is that? Why are you in pain? Because you notice every explanation does not make the pain go away, does it? It just explains it. And then there's the pain. Why? Experientially, why? Is it something what is it? Why do you have certain patterns? Why is it really hard for you to see your own patterns? You ever wonder about that? You can see other people with some bullshit. How come you can't see your own? You must be the perfect human being. I'm sorry. Okay. Cool, you're a perfect human being? Come on over. I'd like to meet you. I want to see what one of those looks like. I've never met one before. Why do you suffer? Really? What creates suffering? If you're responsible, it's not external to you. You do it for some reason. Why? Start to get really curious about your own experience. Why is it built that way? What is an emotion? You ever think about that? Why do you keep having the same emotions over and over and over again? Why is it that, where is your past? You know all that stuff you say that the way that you are is because blah, blah, blah? That's about something that happened, right? How come your past doesn't exist here now? And where is it? And how come you keep using an idea of what happened, which is likely not even accurate, to explain why you are the way you are now? Why do you keep doing that? See? Is an emotion something you're doing, or is it something that's done to you? Get real with that. Why do you think you need to be a certain way because you had a certain past? Those are not the same. There's what you're doing, and there's what happened. What happened is no longer happening. What you say about it is what you say about it, and what you make it mean about you that happened is something you're doing now. I'm making that mean something about me. Why are you doing that? And why that particular meaning? Because your meaning making is not the same as somebody else's meaning making. What the fuck? What makes your meaning making show up the way that it does? And why so powerfully? How come you keep being that way so strongly? You're not this way. You're not other ways. You're that way. Why? And get real with that. Try to really figure out what the fuck's going on, because there's something going on here. And that is my suggestion in this video. If you want to get real with ending your own suffering, you have to square with your experience and what's really going on, because if you don't understand what's really going on, how are you going to stop it? Okay? You got that? So then it's up to you. Because I did a podcast recently. I was working on a podcast, some podcast material, and I missed it this week. I should get one. I've got some ready. I'll get it ready for next week. And I realized that we were doing a funny experiment about what would happen if Buddha got these certain questions? And I was answering questions similarly to Buddha, which kind of surprised me. But then I had something. Now, I don't know what the fuck Buddha was all about, but it sounds like he was up to ending a bunch of suffering. And everybody wants to end their suffering. But how many people actually end it? Isn't it much easier to entertain yourself and to drink and to smoke and to fuck and to whatever? Rather than just be okay the way you are. Now, I'm not saying you can't do those other things. They may be fun. It's recreation or whatever. All right. I'm not saying there's a right way to live. I'm just saying, how many of you out there actually just fucking end it? Like, finish the job already. It's been a couple decades. You should have been able to figure that out by now. See, so then it seems like Buddha was up to ending suffering, and I don't think he ended suffering by trying for a better experience. I think he ended it because he really understood what the fuck was going on ultimately. Oh, it's like that. Okay. Why am I doing that? Okay. Now, I'm saying that the more that I look into my own experience and my own pain, my own suffering, the more I realize, like, my God, I am full of shit. Full of shit. Just there's shit upon more shit. All right? And it's not a bad thing. It's just shitty. Okay? And so I'm not saying that, I'm not saying there's a right way to live. I'm not saying that you have to get over it. I'm just saying the reason that I am discovering it to be shit is because when I really get honest, when I get rigorous, I get honest, I look into my experience, I look into my own pain, my own suffering, I'm like, what is going on there? I discover things that I'm like, fuck, I made that up when I was like 5. I made that up when I was like 2, and it's really weird, and I don't even know how I did that. But then like 35 years later, I'm still like trapped in the same mental construct. And I'm like, my God, this is unbelievable. This is amazing. And I find more and more stuff. And I don't find this because somebody's telling me what to believe. I find this because I got curious and I'm motivated, you could say. I had a rough time. And I started to be like, wait a minute, all right, I'm tired of living like that. I saw how I was living and it hurt. And I'm like, I'm done with that. And there's nobody that can help me except me. I think that helped, all right? I was not comfortable. And so now I'm looking, I'm wondering, I'm curious, and I want to know what's happening. I'm trying to be as honest as I can be. And the more I discover, it's just about my person, it's crazy. It's ridiculous. All right? Okay? And then, as Peter would say, you balance the transformation with some enlightenment, some grasping directly. And I postulate, again, this is me, that the direct consciousness aspect has it's like you can dick around endlessly in the relative and then just keep fucking around with relative stuff, and then you can just jump right to infinity. Just go, okay. It's already all done. There's already no suffering. Everything is already perfect. There's nowhere to go, nothing to be. There's just this happening and at some point death. And done. You can go from this relative shit pile to done. That's like the absolute aspect, the sudden realization, the sudden direct consciousness, to become suddenly directly conscious of your nature, of you. Say what you are, what life is. Absolutely. It has a freeing effect. And it shows up better what is. Okay? So I'm just saying that. I'm just putting that out there. You have to do that. I'm saying that has been my experience. Now, if you believe something about that, fuck you. I don't care about your beliefs. If you think something about that, don't care about what you think. If you feel something about that, I don't care what you feel. It's what are you conscious of? For the sake of this video, what are you conscious of? Do you get it or not? Okay? Everything else, what books you've read, don't care, irrelevant. Your perception of reality, don't care. My perception of reality, don't care. You see how that's going? Everybody's perception of reality, don't give a fuck. So now what are you left with? Well, what's most real for you now? Oh, I guess my experience. Okay, good. Now, who are you? What are you? Well, I don't know. Good. See? Get to it. I can't, I'll die. Imagine I'm dead. What are you going to do now? Imagine Ralston's dead. What are you going to do now? Imagine every teacher, every spiritual guru, every blah, 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 they're all dead, because that's going to happen. Now what do you do? See, it's on you already. It's been on you the whole time. So I'm saying, get responsible. If you want to do that, do it. And I think it makes a huge difference. But maybe not. Maybe not. Okay? All right, so that's what I have for you. I'm trying to, with this video, break into, my attempt to this video is to open you up, give you some possibilities to consider, break into your mind and try to separate out some of the assumptions and loosen you up so that you can discover what's going on with you better, with the intent of you being able to free yourself from your own pain. I want you to free yourself from your own pain because you can, and because it's a better experience, and because I love you, I guess. It's like a weird love. Maybe I don't want people around me so much, but the more I work on myself, the more I realize people, and the more people I hang out with, the more I'm like, holy fuck, people they're in pain. They're a mess. I'm not I hear stories about, somebody I'm close with, and she works with, wealthy people, and they are fucked up. Wealthy doesn't mean happy. She worked with other people, and it's like, my God, they are fucked up. I'm like, oh, I thought if I got wealthy, I'd stop being fucked up. No, that doesn't happen. And then I see other people, and the more I see them, I'm like, my God, they're stuck in that. They're stuck in that, and it's not happy. I'm like, man, might be better being happy. Okay? So I just thought I'd make this video to try to get at some of that stuff and try to point in a direction. It's use the video like a pointer, and it's something you have to do. I am not, in consciousness work, I'm not about being happy or healthy or anything. I'm just trying to get people to grasp what's true. But this video, I'm trying to get people to grasp how fucked up they are so they can stop doing it. How unhappy you really are so you can get how that works so you can end it. Finally, be free. Because I think it's worth it. Otherwise, it's fine. Enjoy your suffering. No problems there. Do as you will. All right, so that's what I have for you there. Hit me in the comments. Send me a message. Come here. Most importantly, check the links. Navigate my website. Come here, do a workshop. They kick ass. They won't necessarily get you free except for the Being Complete workshop, which does intentionally work on your suffering. All right, you can check that. You'll go through my website. That'll send you over to Ralston's website where we have all the information about all that stuff. I'm like the gateway. All right? I'm the gateway drug to that. And we do the Being Complete workshop, which is all about ending suffering. So if you want to do that, we do that now. Never before. Well, except for last year, okay? And that addresses this aspect of your mind, okay? How that works. But otherwise, much love, take care, do good work, be honest, let me know what comes up, and yeah, take it easy.